So the question is, what is intellectual humility, and how does it facilitate the acceptance of constructive feedback? So what is intellectual humility, and how does it facilitate the acceptance of constructive feedback? So the first quote by Charles Munger is, I try to get rid of people who always confidently answer questions about which they don't have any real knowledge. Yeah, do you guys agree with this? I think I agree with this. I mean, in a sense that, there are a lot of people coming to these forums and they don't know much about, the topic, but they feel like they are very confident about their answers. Yeah. I think to be honest, I think that it's always okay to give your answers. Alexa, stop. It's just that if you're so confident about a topic, even though you don't have you're not an insider on these questions, then maybe you don't have a lot of intellectual humility. Yeah. This is the second quote. Intellectual humility is the willingness to admit you might be wrong, right? The openness to new ideas, the courage to change your mind. Right? It's not a weakness, it's the foundation of wisdom and growth. So the willingness to admit you might be wrong, the openness to new ideas, and the courage to change your mind. Yeah, is it? Let me see. I generally agree. Particularly last point, the courage to change your mind, because oftentimes I do see a lot of people that come to these groups, and I notice that they don't want to change their mind. They feel like what they're saying is right, and that the people's mind who should be changing is other people. So we should reflect upon this. What do you guys think about this quote? The willingness to admit you might be wrong, the openness to new ideas. Can you guys think of any situations or real life lessons where you have intellectual humility or not have intellectual humility? Let's talk about this. Next quote is this. This is a quote by Robert Kiyosaki. Humility is the first step toward learning. You can't learn until you are humble enough to realize there is something for you to learn. Let me repeat. Humility is the first step toward learning. You can't learn until you are humble enough to realize there is something for you to learn. Well, my feeling about this quote is that, well, if you feel like you know it all, let's say you know everything, why would you be compelled to learn anything? Is that maybe if you have the mindset that you just don't know a lot, or if you just have the mindset that you're open to learning more, man, maybe that's the more healthier attitude to have, because now you have now a reason to learn. But if you have this mindset or stuck up mindset that you know everything, then you probably don't want to learn. You probably are not motivated to learn anything or seek out the truth, right? So what do you guys think about this quote? Here's a quote. What are the qualities of intellectual humility? You have openness. Openness would be maybe openness in the sense of trying out new things, trying out new cuisines, trying out new restaurants, maybe trying out, Ethiopian food. I never try out Ethiopian food, but I should probably develop more of this respect, respect. I mean, there's maybe a basic type of respect that we should have, just by virtue of the fact that other people are people, you know. Flexibility. I think it could be intellectual flexibility, or flexibility when it comes to your principles. I don't know. This is a question. Is all flex? What kind of flexibility are we talking about? I suspect it's intellectual flexibility. But how about ideological flexibility? Is ideological flexibility a type of flexibility? I'm not sure. Curiosity, I really like this one, right? The kind of the openness to go out in the world and acknowledge that you don't know everything, but you're curious about it. And this is really the beginning of learning, right? That you start off with like being curious about something, and then it leads you to a rabbit hole. Tolerating ambiguity. I don't know if this is I don't know if this is unique to people, but I've heard that conservative people tend to tolerate less. They can tolerate less ambiguity, whereas liberal people tend to be more. They are more tolerant of ambiguity. So I don't know if this is precisely true, but so you guys can do some Google search, or ask the AI about this. But like, I guess being intellectually humble or having humility is really being able to tolerate that you don't know sometimes, and that you're able to defer, given an answer, that you're okay with these muddled waters. Welcoming new ideas. I mean, I guess if you're intellectually curious, you're flexible, you probably are open to new ideas, new ways of doing something, new ways of conceptualizing how your life is. So yeah, we can talk about this. Last quote is, intellectual humility is the recognition that one's belief or opinion may be fallible, and an acknowledgement of one's own limitation in evaluating evidence. So intellectual humility is the recognition that one's belief or opinions may be fallible, and acknowledgement of one's own limitation in evaluating evidence. I mean, yeah, I think this is somewhat right, right? Right? If I say whatever belief that I have, right, or whatever opinion that I have, I'm gonna. I think it's gonna be fallible, right? It could be false. I'm not gonna say that my beliefs and opinions are absolutely true, but because like I don't really know, because like some of these opinions and belief that I have could be false, and I think we are kind of too ambitious to think that everything we say has to be the truth. So I think it's okay to recognize that what we say or what our beliefs are could be false. And I guess it's also about acknowledging one's own limitation, right? Because like, if your belief and opinion could be false, then you acknowledge your own personal limitation in regard to your beliefs, in regard to the evidence for your beliefs. So I can somewhat relate to this quote. So what do you guys think about this?